Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. Tonight we're joined by musical artist, rapper, producer, and the owner of the #1 spot on the iTunes chart with his song, you know it, it's titled Let's Go Brandon, Bryson Gray. Bryson, welcome to The Right View. Really stoked to talk to you tonight. We're obviously going to talk about the song Let's Go Brandon. We're going to talk about all your great success. But I got to start where it's really important to me. I heard you are from and still live in my home state of North Carolina. Is that right?
So I was born and raised there, and I moved like 6 months ago to Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Oh, all right. But where'd you live, in Greensboro?
Born and raised in High Point. Then I moved to Greensboro because it's right there.
Yeah.
And then it started going too blue for me, so I had to go.
No, we need you there though. That's the whole thing. I mean, that's what we need. We need more people that are conservatives there in my home state. I know it's getting sadly to be a bit of a purple state, which is a very concerning thing to me. But we're going to still try and make sure it stays red. We'll see what we can do. But tell me a little bit more about yourself. Now, I have truly been a fan of your music for some time. I think you're incredibly talented. You've been producing music, you've been making music, I think for a while. Is this something you were always interested in growing up? How did all this start?
Not to sound cliche, but I literally don't remember a time in my life where I didn't make music. Like I know at 4 and 5 years old I was making music, and I don't remember 3 or 2. So I've been recording music since I was 9. I've been producing since I was 9. So I don't, it's just in me, I guess.
Yeah. And so I assume you were not always interested in politics and in writing songs about politics and, expressing your viewpoint. What did you used to kind of put into music? What was it that you're used to talking about?
Regular disgusting music about stuff, I was like rapping about all kinds of disgusting stuff at 15, 16 years old. I used to curse in my music growing up, and now I just don't curse at all. But I just regular stuff. And then I started waking up. I always felt like I had God, but I used to be more lukewarm. But then I started reading the Bible more. I started evolving more as a person. I started saying my views out loud as an artist. And it was sad because I started saying my views when I had a song on the radio station in Greensboro. The station was called 102 Jams. Mm-hmm. And I had a song on there and it was doing real well. But then it started being drama because I would talk about being pro-life. I would talk about my biblical values. And I remember my mother called me and said, you cannot be a political commentator and a music artist at the same time. And I literally went home and made Black Not Democrat, which is the first political song I made.
Wow. And your mom inspired you to do that. Little did she know by calling you that was going to be the reason you went home and wrote that song. But you weren't always, Bryson, a conservative. I read that you were an Obama supporter back in the day. Then you supported Bernie Sanders for a certain amount of time. And then you finally became a Trump supporter. I think you're famous for wearing that bucket MAGA hat. I know that I've seen you wear before. And I think you got that after one of the Republican primary debates. But tell me, how did you get to this place where you became a Trump supporter and such a staunch Trump supporter that obviously you put it into music?
So it's interesting in the Black community because I have always been conservative by nature.
Yeah, but you just didn't know.
Yes, but when you're in a Black community, you don't say you're a conservative. You don't say you're a Republican or anything of that nature. That is one of the things you do not say. You can get kicked out of houses for saying stuff like that. How I grew up, and trust me, I know. And so
from experience, maybe.
So it's that's something you just don't say. So when I was growing up, my parents are naturally conservative. We grew up being taught to work hard, and then you can get something. We grew up going to church. We grew up being against a lot of the stuff that's worldly right now. But the thing is, you just align with Democrats because that's what you were taught. My mom and daddy was a Democrat. Right. Their parents were a Democrat. It's just how you were taught. So when I started realizing it, is because Obama started making some crazy decisions, and the Supreme Court under him started doing crazy things that was really against God. I don't know if you remember, but there had to be a vote to see if we still wanted to keep God on the dollar bill and keep God name in the national anthem. I don't know if you remember that. There was literally a vote for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hello. And then like a lot of things Obama did was like, because I don't know if you remember his first term, he seemed to be a Christian. He claimed to be a Christian. He did a little pandering to Christians, and it was like regular. But then when he started pushing that agenda, and I saw Republicans being the ones upset at his agenda, I was like, huh? And it wasn't even Trump at first, and I still ignored it for a bit because I know you can't be a conservative in the black community,
right? Like forbidden.
Yeah, and then with Bernie, the only thing I liked about him is he didn't have no donors. So I just listened to whatever he said. I didn't know what he was talking about, but he didn't have no donors. I said, oh, that's gangster. You know what I'm saying? But then I went to his website. People do dumb things, and it leads me to research. When he like cucked to Hillary Clinton, I went to his website, and I literally disagree with everything I seen. Like literally, there was not one thing on his website
It's really scary. That website, by the way, for a side note real quick, I remember during the campaign going and looking at Bernie Sanders' website, I was like, somebody allowed him to put this stuff on there? And this is still out there? You're right. It was crazy stuff on there.
It was insane. Just any normal person reading that would be like, okay, you're crazy. And then you see who's going against this. It was the right. And I'm like, huh. So I didn't know Trump was really like, I knew Trump was running, but I didn't take him seriously in the beginning. So the one I researched that everybody was talking about was Ted Cruz. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be one of the go-tos. And this was before the Republican primaries. So I went to Ted Cruz's website, actually saw God's name like a bunch. I was like, huh? He was for like traditional family values. I'm like, this is so weird. Why do I agree with this?
Yeah.
And then that led me to watch the Republican primaries. And this is what me and my dad was arguing so much. My sister was just there listening. Trump was just wiping the floor with everybody. I don't know what people want me to say. He talked like a regular human being.
Yes.
He seemed like the issues that he had with what's going on was the issues that regular people had.
Right.
And it just spoke to me. I felt like I was looking at myself on TV. And after that, it was just that's where it came from.
Wow. And by the way, just for our audience, I also read you and your family, like your immediate family, are not all on the same page with supporting Donald Trump, with being Republican. What's the story in your household?
So, like I said, we grew up Democrat. So when this all first started, it was such a shock. It was such a shock to my family that we was like really having like real arguments. Of course, the next day we're back to normal. You know what I'm saying? But we would have like real like arguments, yelling, and it was mainly me and my dad. But you know, it was crazy. What's interesting is because if you talk to my dad now, it's a totally different person. He actually said the other night that he doesn't think he can be a Democrat anymore. Wow. And the reason why is because when we grow up, it's the way we view it. Like I never hated Trump. You can't find no old post of me hating Trump, but you can find old posts of me talking about Republicans and how we view Republicans in our community, for the rich people, for white people only.
Well, because by the way, Bryson, that is in an essence, decades ago, that is truly how I think a lot of people viewed the Republican Party, and the Democrat Party was very different. It is in recent time that the Democrat Party, especially in the past, say like 6 or 7 years, it's sort of like totally off the rails. This is a party that is so unrecognizable, I think, to so many people who've been lifelong Democrats, like your family, that a lot of people probably feel the way that your dad does. People are saying, this is a party that has left me, that I don't even recognize anymore. And people are finding that their values have become more aligned with the Republican Party. And the Republican Party now is not a party of just rich old white people. This is a party of blue collar workers, of every person in America. It's a party of the American dream and of giving everyone the same opportunity. And I think it's funny how it seems like the roles have shifted. That's really interesting that your dad is saying he doesn't know if he could be a Democrat anymore.
Well, it started because it hit home. You know, people don't really recognize things until it hit home, which is sad for conservatives, because liberals understand that they need to get ahead of everything, especially in culture. But people like us, everything got to hit home. So when my dad saw how I was being treated by conservatives, by the right, he was like, huh, so interesting. And then when he saw how I was being treated by the left, were just saying what's on my mind, he was like, oh, okay, that's a little odd. And then what's really red pilling a lot of people, not my dad. I have a lot of friends from back home that called me and was like, you know what? Bryson was right. The reason why is because sunlight is the best for exposing things. And Joe Biden, I think it's a blessing in disguise that he somehow got in the White House, because he's doing such a terrible job. He's doing things that everybody is noticing, even if you don't watch politics. When you cut HBCU funding, the word of that gonna get out.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get versus out. Donald Trump, who basically gave permanent funding and said, you don't need to come back and ask for it every year. I'm just gonna permanently fund, the historically Black colleges and universities all over the country. What a difference. You're right. I think Joe Biden is single-handedly red pilling more people across America than any Republican candidate, than any conservative could do. Because you're right, the people that actually voted for him, the people that were like, well, let's give Joe Biden a chance, are like, wait a minute, what a complete disaster in like 10 months we have found ourselves in.
Yep, and it's happening more and more. All the right has to do is to not be dumb. And we can get a lot of votes. But I'm sorry, when it comes to marketing and being able to relay your message, nobody is worse than the GOP, and nobody is worse than anybody right wing. I've never seen marketing plans so bad in my life.
We need to get you involved more, Bryson. Obviously, that's the key.
Some people say I'm too controversial. Rightfully so. But something, because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get red pilled by a person. I got red pilled because I saw what was bad. Because like a lot of the people I would say is my favorite conservatives of all time now, they wouldn't have been able to red pill me because I couldn't relate to them. I mean, I relate to them now because I'm looking at their stories, how they grew up, But just from a person, like I was always a rapper. I performed at all the HBCUs in North Carolina. I performed at A&T, HBCU, WSSU, NCCU. Because my rap group was popular in North Carolina. I had a rap group called 336 Boys. And we were pretty popular in North Carolina. And it's like...
Is that the area code for Greensboro?
Yep, High Point is the tri area. Yep. So, and it's like these people couldn't have red pilled me. And the problem with the GOP is, of course, we have the better ideas. Of course we believe that. Of course, our ideas are better and smarter. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Cardi B has a bigger effect on culture, and nobody's gonna say she's smart. So she has a bigger effect on culture, and she's more influential in culture than any conservative could be. And I think we've got too caught up in preaching to the choir, and we forgot to get in culture, and we're actually alienating people.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the interesting thing, I think, about Donald Trump, because whether or not people loved him or hated him, he got people involved and had people start paying attention, I think, to politics in a way that they really had never done. Because who really cared about politics before Donald Trump came down the golden escalator? Many people were just kind of asleep at the wheel, not paying attention. They would go vote every 4 years, maybe, if they felt like it. But there was nothing we ever saw like what happened after Donald Trump got involved. So hopefully we can take a page out of the Bryson Gray playbook. Hopefully we can take a page out of, the Donald Trump playbook as a party and say, like, let's start doing things a little bit differently. You're right. We need to up the ante when it comes to kind of our marketing, our PR, I guess you would say, as a party. But that brings me to your song, your brand new song that has, blown the doors off the charts. Let's Go, Brandon. Now, I want to just say that I believe it was removed from YouTube and now from TikTok. We know how big tech, Bryson, tries to censor conservatives. They've been doing it to all of us for so long. But this song has been #1 on iTunes. I think it hit the #1 spot on Billboard. It's been competing with artists like Adele. You told me that it's been going back and forth for first place with Adele, right? What happened with this song? Let's just talk about it for a second. Why did you write it? Like, what inspired you to do this? And then did you ever expect for there to be such a reaction?
This is how you know God is working, right? I did not want to make a Let's Go Brandon song. I
Oh,
like.
really?
I'm gonna tell you why. I love the chant in itself because I don't curse. So you know, let's go,
Yes.
Brandon.
That's why, but that isn't that why, just to interrupt you really quick, that's why so many people like this, because for people, and I think everybody knows, but it came from F Joe Biden, right?
Yep.
Which everybody was chanting all across the country at football games, at baseball games, at rallies in the street, trying to, keep their constitutional rights intact. And it's really kind of not a great thing to be spreading out there. I would have loved my kids chanting something like that. So then you flash forward to a NASCAR race, I think, right? It was a NASCAR event. And this reporter trying to cover up what the crowd is chanting. They were chanting the F Joe Biden. She goes, "Oh, look, they're chanting for Brandon." Like, lady, we know what they were chanting. That's how Let's Go Brandon was born. And that's why, Bryson, I think so many people like it. They get to say what they want to say, which is we're really so done with the nonsense that Joe Biden is doing to this country, but they get to say it in a nice way. So sorry, go ahead. I think it's brilliant.
It's true because like F Joe Biden is nothing but a euphemism for I don't like Joe Biden. It's just a harsh way to say it.
Right.
And I guess you could say Joe Biden sucks, but that doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Let's Go Brandon is just so creative and it's so like discreet but blunt at the same time. And I'm happy to
post Let's Go Brandon on Instagram.
Yes.
I
love it. But yeah, so I love the chant, but everybody was asking me to make a song. Like the same day that it went viral, everybody was like, Bryson, make a song. I said no, and no. Oh. So interesting. Then a country artist made a song.
Yeah.
Like I forgot his name. I think it was Decent at Best on YouTube, but it didn't go viral, like crazy viral. But it had like 50,000 views, and I was like, "That's cool." But he cursed. I don't understand the point of cursing in a Let's Go Brandon song. So then another then a rap artist made one, and then it went viral on YouTube, and people was like, "Bryson, please make one." I said, "Nope." Then my friend Forgiato Blow made one, and everybody said, "Bryson, make one." Nope. And then another guy made one, and a guy named Black Conservative Preacher, he DM'd me. He asked me in real life like a week before, and I just kept saying no. He DM'd me and said, I listened to all the Let's Go Brandon songs. I can't let my son listen to any of these. I just can't let my son listen to it. He was like, Bryson, I know you told me a million times, and I hate to bother you again, but bro, we need something that we can sing around our children.
Yeah.
And I said, dang, you pulled on my heartstrings. I said, so I said, I'm gonna do it my way. I didn't want to put the chant necessarily in the song. I wanted to make a real song, but make it something that you can chant if you want to, and really talk about what's going on in politics. I didn't want to make no trendy thing. So I made it. I put Tyson James and Chandler Crump on it. And I told them on the phone, I was like, this probably won't go viral because it doesn't have that trendy sound. I was like, but like when people listen to it, they're gonna be like, okay, we're really talking about something. So I was like, if it does go viral, then y'all will have a popular song. And like when YouTube banned it, I was like, dang, well, that's it. Wrap it up.
Wait, why did they give you not that anybody gives you a real reason when they take stuff down? I mean, they take this show down all the time. They demonetize it. They do all kinds of stuff to us. And a lot of times we don't get like a legitimate reason. Did they give you a reason, Bryson, why they took it down off of YouTube?
Yes, they claimed medical misinformation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They didn't say the exact lyric, but I think everybody has a view of which lyric, possibly did it. But even with the lyric they tried to say did it, it's like you have to stretch it. You have to stretch that.
Like so many people are going to a rap video on YouTube for medical advice. Get the heck out of here. Like, what a joke. That's so ridiculous.
And then it's like, it's kind of crazy because that like everybody has tried to re-uploaded it. And one of them almost had 1 million views and got banned. Like so YouTube was like actively making sure they banned every video with the song. With the song in it. And none of the other ones got banned. There's like 10 Let's Go Brandon songs. How did mine get banned? I don't know.
Wow. So you obviously have I mean, it's skyrocketed on all the charts. Are you shocked to be competing right now with Adele for first place on iTunes?
Yes, because like I said, this song wasn't even. Not only did I really not want to make it, I told the people on the song with me. I said it's probably not gonna go viral like the other ones. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm shocked because the whole reason I'm in this is to win the culture war. You know what I'm saying? And this is the first time I've seen since I've been in the movement where conservatives are actually competing in a culture war. Not just talking about it. There's a culture war literally going on. Us and Adele's going back and forth right now. We were number one on the digital song sale Billboard charts, number one on the rap digital downloads charts, number 28 on the Hot 100, which is the biggest. If you know anything about music, I'm sure you do. That is the biggest chart you can be on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's nothing bigger than that. We beat The Weeknd.
That's crazy. Oh my! But Bryson, doesn't that tell you? I mean, to me, what that says is that there's a shift happening in America right now. And I mean, look, we just talked about how Joe Biden single-handedly is like doing the GOP's work because he's just doing such a poor job at leading this country. It's just a disaster from beginning to end with everything he does. But it really, the fact that the chant itself, "Let's go Brandon," that you see it everywhere at all of these gatherings of, thousands and thousands of people all over the country, that your song has taken off the way it has, and that it is staying up at the top of these charts the way it has. What does that tell you? Because to me, that says something very significant is happening in America. And maybe, I know big tech is trying to stifle it. I know they're trying to push back on it. They're trying to take your song off of YouTube. They're trying to maintain control of the population and push people in the way they want them to go. But don't you think that speaks to something maybe bigger that's going on below the surface here?
What it says to me is not only are people fed up with the Biden administration, but more importantly, it shows that if we decided to, we can compete in the culture war. Because I have to admit, the left has been whooping our butts in every aspect of culture. And everything is downstream from culture. And entertainment is one of the major parts of culture. We have been getting whooped. The fact that we were able to outsell with zero radio spends, a $0 budget. I literally spent $0 on the budget.
Wow.
And we're 28 on a Hot 100. Are you kidding me?
That's amazing.
The only issue is we have to continue it in everything entertainment, because if it falls off the Billboard charts next week, the left is going to be like, okay, I mean, I got nervous, but it was a fluke. You know what I'm saying? It was just a one-time thing. And, it shouldn't take something getting banned for it to happen. It shouldn't take a trend to happen. There's you know what I'm saying? I feel like me and a few others grandfathered a new rap movement, clean Christian conservative rap. And there's 10 artists now that's actually doing decent. You know what I'm saying? Getting on the iTunes charts. We have to continue supporting it. Tucker Carlson, new film, support it. Anything entertainment with conservatives, we have to support it. Not just support it to the point where it's good for that person. And I hate people say that's good for a conservative. No.
We need to good in general.
Good. We need to compete with the biggest. If we have a movie and Will Smith drop a movie the same week, we should be competing with Will Smith's movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
If one of the rappers drop an album and Drake drop an album, we should be competing with Drake. We have the numbers. We just proved it.
Yeah. That's absolutely right. Well, I think, look, hopefully we can take the momentum that we have now. And sadly, I agree. I'm going to go back to something you said a few minutes ago. You said that it's basically like a blessing in disguise that Joe Biden is in the White House right now. Now, clearly, that is not what either of us or probably anyone that's listening to or watching the show right now wanted to see happen in 2020. But I have always subscribed to the idea that sometimes God has a bigger plan. And look, from the very beginning of this, we are right now, a year ago, we were in the midst of this chaos of an election situation where, people went to bed on November 3rd saying, clearly Donald Trump is going to win. And then fast forward a couple of hours, oh my gosh, what happened here? And then we all know how it all kind of devolved from there. But sometimes I feel like God has a bigger plan at hand, and perhaps the plan was that a lot of people needed to be awakened in this country, and it wasn't happening with doing the same old thing. So you get a guy like Joe Biden, who is a complete and total, disaster, again, as a president. You get a completely inept vice president like Kamala Harris in there, and you see how badly things can go so quickly that maybe it was all the plan from the beginning, that people needed to experience how bad it could be if you voted the wrong way, if you chose the wrong people, if you voted based on, virtue signaling and woke ideas versus what could actually be positive for this country. You get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So maybe it's a good thing, and maybe we have the momentum now, Bryson. We just need you to keep doing what you're doing, and I know you will, right? Like, you're not done with any of this.
No, of course not. I'm gonna keep doing what I've been doing, is pushing my own propaganda. I mean, that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm not saying to call it that. These are my belief systems, and yes, I want to push it on culture. Yes, I want to push it to kids, because at least it's not disgusting. I talk about God, I talk about family, I talk about the country, I talk about our rights, and I would rather push that propaganda than the stuff they're pushing. And you're right. Hopefully, this lights a fire under our behinds. It seems like it is. It seems like it is, because people are fed up with the mandates, fed up with them taking our rights away. I think, what I'm saying, like, of course we didn't want him in there, but I mean, I'm starting to see us get fired up, really fired up to really stand up to what's going on. Right. And if I can be a part of that, then that's what we need.
Well, you're a part of it. I mean, I don't know what your intention was with any of this, if you ever intended to be such a part of, a political movement, but you really are. And you're changing the way that people, I think, view politics. You're changing the way that people kind of interpret things. And I mean, your music it's catchy and it's great to listen to, but there also is a lot of meaning behind it. And I think when people listen to the words in your songs, they are very impactful, and it really does make you stop and think about things. So you got to keep doing it. And look, I'm just going to say, I clearly am a part of all of this. So if you ever have any ideas, you just come my way. Let me know. We'll get together on it. We'll push it out there. I think we all have to be in this together, and I think we are. What do you have going on? Are you touring? Any new music? Anything you want to share with our audience about things you have going on?
Well, I'm working on an album called Bold as a Lion Season 2. Let's Go Brandon will obviously be on that album. Of course, it's like my other albums is pushing my values and my belief system. No cursing. I don't curse my music whatsoever. Also, I have a few shows coming up, but I drive to all of them. So, like, for a regular person, one performance may take one night. For me, it takes 4 days. I just drove 24 hours to Arizona, 24 hours back, all because I'm not putting on a mask. So,
oh gosh, good for you, man. Well, hopefully we don't have to do that for very long. I mean, all of this stuff, it's all really coming to a head. You look at what is going on in the state of Virginia. You look at what's going on with the airlines, with the mask mandates, with the vaccine mandates for the pilots, and then being short of pilots everywhere. Things are moving in this country, and people are paying attention. I think a lot of people are waking up. I have to ask you the question that I ask every guest that we have on the show, Bryson, before I let you go. What do you think is the best part of America, and what do you think is the biggest threat to the future of our country?
My favorite part about America is the rights we have, because the Constitution we have, you don't get this in other countries. You literally can't do half the stuff we do. I mean, look at Australia; they just gave their guns up, and look at us. We still got ours for the most part. In some states, it's crazy, but and the biggest threat is them taking our rights from us, and it can easily happen. All they have to do is, I was on that Nancy Pelosi list that came out, to give the FBI information. They could have used that to take my gun rights if they really wanted to stretch it out. So the biggest threat is, allowing people that work for us to take our rights away. Mm-hmm. The government works for us. We pay their bills.
That's right.
That's the truth of the matter. And we're not acting like it. I feel like they're pretty much treating us like they're our parents, and they're our mommies and daddies, and the social media companies are our mamas and daddies. They're supposed to be able to tell you when you can speak, when you can't, what you can say, what you can't. We need to start remembering, like, this doesn't exist without us.
That's right. Amen to that. I mean, we are in charge. We, the people, are in charge of this country. It is not the politicians. We elect these people to represent us, and they work for us. We always have to remember that. Well, Bryson, I just want to say thank you for joining us here on The Right View. Again, keep up the awesome work. I certainly will be keeping up with you. We can't escape you. Let's Go Brandon is everywhere, and I love it. It's so great. So congrats on all of the success. You're really killing it. You're doing an awesome job. Thanks for joining us here. And to all of you at home, as always, thank you for joining us here on The Right View. We'll see you back here next week for more.